Okay, hello? What the hell? Am I actually back now? I guess let's see. I would like to read some Odyssey today. But my Wi-Fi didn't seem to like that. Let's try this again. How are we doing? How are we doing? Okay, well, we'll see. My internet says it's good now, but who knows? Welcome back, everyone. Hi. Okay, a quick little 30-minute delay. That's fine. Sorry, I'm just nervous about everything. It feels like I don't want to like jinx it, but it feels like my Wi-Fi does not want me to read this book. Because I feel like it's almost every time I've tried to read this that it just stops working. But yeah. OBS like disconnected. I couldn't even open up a speed test to like check my internet. Restarted my router. And it must have been the internet as well, because and like not just my computer. I hacked into Fitz's computer and theirs wouldn't even load either. Okay, well. Anyway, welcome to stream. For real. I will be reading the Odyssey, at least a little bit of it. It's been a couple months since I last did a little reading stream here. We are barely even through the book, and honestly, since the new movie came out, I really want to watch it. I also have to watch the Backrooms. But I want to watch the new movie, because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it, honestly. And the only thing I really know the Odyssey by is from Epic the Musical, which slaps, by the way. But I want to get like an actual baseline for the story. I was like, let's continue reading the Odyssey. Also, a quick little side note if you didn't see, my baby boy, Fishbone, he had to get surgery. He had a tumor on his back. They are still testing it. We don't know what it is yet. We haven't got the results back. But he did get it removed. This is him. The saddest baby. Just the saddest baby ever. Ugh. He's doing well though. He really wanted to lick himself earlier. Like he was trying so hard, but the cone is stopping him, of course. That's its job. Oh, here's a good one. He's so sad and he's so crusty. I keep having to clear his eyes. There's so much crust. Oh. Just the saddest baby. But he's doing well. He only has a couple more days of the cone. It looks like his fur is like starting to grow back, which is really weird. Because he has a big ass bald spot on his back now. And his leg, where they had to put the IV? Yeah. He's just so sad. Anyway, let's get reading. And hope this works. There we go. How's that? How's this looking? Can you see everything? Big enough? Should I make it bigger? I don't remember what I had it at last time. I feel like that's a little better. Okay. Hope this music isn't too terribly loud. I don't think it is. Should be good. So, where were we last time? Sweet nymph and open sea. I don't exactly remember because this isn't the most like... The timeline jumps around a lot in this because it's mainly Penelope and Telemachus like getting told of his story. But there's a bunch of suitors that are trying to take Odysseus's place and marry Penelope. I guess Athena is talking to Penelope last we read. Yeah. So, sweet nymph and open sea. Dawn came up from the couch of her reclining, leaving her lord Tithonus, his bright side, with fresh light in her arms for gods and men. And the master of heaven and high thunder, Zeus, went to his place among the gods assembled, hearing Athena tell Odysseus his woe. For she, being vexed that he was still sojourning in the sea chambers of Calypso, said, O Father Zeus, and gods in bliss forever, let no man holding scepter as a king think to be mild or kind or virtuous. Let him be cruel and practice evil ways. Those Odysseus ruled cannot remember the fatherhood and mercy of his reign. Meanwhile he lives and grieves upon that island. In thraldom to the nymph he cannot stir, cannot fare homeward, where no ship is left him, fitted with oars, no crewmen or companions to pull him on the broad back of the sea. And now murder is hatched on the high sea against his son, who sought news of his father in the holy lands of Ilos and Lacedaemon. So Athena is trying to get him off of Calypso's island, and is also like, his son is gonna get killed. And she's pleading to Zeus. Yeah. To this the summoner of Cloud replied, My child, what odd complaints you let escape you? Have you not you yourself arranged this matter, as we all know, so that Odysseus will bring these men to book on his return? And are you not the one to give Telemachus a safe route for sailing? Let his enemies encounter no one and row home again. He turned then to his favorite son and said, Hermes, you've much practice on our missions. Go make it known to the softly braided nymph that we, whose will is not subject to error, order Odysseus home. Let him depart, but let him have no company, gods or men, only a raft that he must lash together, and after 20 days worn out at sea, he shall make land upon the garden isle. Shakira? Shakira? Shkahira? Shahiria? Our kinsman, oh, these are so tough. Of our kinsmen, the Phaeacians, let these men take him to their hearts in honor and berth him in a ship and send him home, with gifts of garments, gold and bronze, so much he had not counted on from Troy. Could he have carried home his share of plunder, his destiny is to see his friends again, under his own roof in his father's country. So Zeus is like, fine, whatever, let him go home, but he has to go alone. No words were lost on Hermes the wayfinder, who bent to tie his beautiful sandals on. You not wearing sandals, bro? Ambrosial gold that carry him over water or over endless land in a swish of the wind, and took the wand which he charms asleep, or when he wills awake the eyes of men. So wand in hand he paced into the air, shot from Pieria down to sea level, and veered to skim the swell. A gull patrolling between the waves' crests of the desolate sea will dip to catch a fish and douse his wings. No higher above the white caps Hermes flew till the distant island lay ahead, and rising shoreward the violet ocean, he stepped up to the cave. Fix my what is this, mic? Divine Calypso, the mistress of the island, was now at home. Upon her hearthstone a great fire blazing, scented the farthest shores with cedar smoke and smoke of thyme, and singing high and low in her sweet voice before her loom a-weaving. She passed her golden shuttle to and fro. A deep wood grew outside, with summer leaves of alder and black poplar, pungent cypress. Ornate birds have rested their stretched wings, horned owls, falcons, cormorants, long-tongued beach-combing birds, and followers of the sea. Around the smooth-walled cave, a crooking vine held purple clusters under ply of green, and 4 springs, bubbling up near one another, shallow and clear, took channels here and there through beds of violets and tender parsley. Even a god who found this place would gaze and feel his heart beat with delight. So Hermes did. But when he had gazed his fill, he entered the wide cave. Now face to face the magical Calypso recognized him, as all immortal gods know one another on sight. Of course. Those seeming strangers far from home. But he saw nothing of the great Odysseus, who sat apart, as 1,000 times before, and racked his own heart groaning, with eyes wet scanning the bare horizon of the sea. Just making sure. Calypso, lovely nymph, seated her guest in a bright chair all shimmering, and asked, "O Hermes, ever with your golden wand, what brings you to my island? Your awesome visits in the past were few. Now tell me what request you have in mind, for I desire to do it if I can. If it's a proper thing to do, wait a while and let me serve my friend." She drew a table of ambrosia near him and stirred a cup of ruby-colored nectar. Food and drink the luminous wayfinder, who took both at his leisure and replied, "Goddess to god, you greet me, questioning me? Well, here is the truth for you in courtesy. Zeus made me come, and not my inclination. Cares to cross that tract of desolation, the bitter sea, all mortal towns behind, where gods have beef and honors for mankind. But it is not to be thought of, no use, for any god to elude the will of Zeus." Does he talk in rhymes? I think this is the first time we've heard Hermes talk, is it? "You note your friend most ill-starred by renown of all the peers who fought for Priam's town. 9 years of war they had before great Troy was down. Homing, they wronged the goddess with grey eyes, who made a black wind blow and the seas rise, in which his troops were lost and all his gear, while Easter lies and current washed him here. Now the command is, send him back in haste, his life may not in exile go to waste. His destiny, his homecoming is at hand, when he shall see his dearest and walk on his own land." Was this written in English? I just have to know if there is any translation. Hold on. Or if I've searched this up or not. Just that rhyming is such a harder thing to translate. The earliest known translation of Odysseus' travel is Livius Chronicus's Latin privately in fragments. Criticized by neoclassics and romantics for its perceived imperfections, the Odyssey was nevertheless widely circulated and functioned as a long-term project for the author. Huh. I guess English is lends itself pretty easy to be translated from probably Latin, which was translated from the ancient Greek. Okay, interesting. Especially when I'm reading such old stuff, I was like, damn, I wish I could know, like, the OG, but it also seems like it may have also started as, like, oral stories, which is probably why it jumps around so much. Because this version, even say, that's from Pennsylvania. Even say what year this is? Have I looked at this before? So it's, I'm assuming Robert Fitzgerald is translated. Guy who translated it. Oh, translation copyright 1961. So these exact words were from 1961. Okay, good to know. Interesting. Okay, where were we? That goddess most divinely made shuddered before him, and her warm voice rose. Oh, you vile gods and jealousy supernal. I hate it when we choose to lie with men, immortal flesh by some dear mortal side. So radiant dawn once took to bed Orion, until you easeful gods grew peevish at it, and holy Artemis throned in gold, hunted him down in Delos with her arrows. Then Demeter of the tasseled tresses yielded to Iason, mingling and making love in a furrow 3 times plowed. Damn. But Zeus found out and killed him with a white-hot thunderbolt. So now you grudge me, too, my mortal friend. But it was I who saved him, saw him straddle his own keelboard, the one man left afloat when Zeus rent wide his ship with chain lightning and overturned him in the wine-dark sea. And all his troops were lost, his good companions. The wind and current washed him here to me. I fed him, loved him, saying that he should not die nor grow old, ever, in all the days to come. But now there's no eluding Zeus's will. This thing be ordained by him, I say, so be it. Let the man strike out alone on the vast water. Surely I cannot send him. I have no long-oared ships, no company to pull him on the broad back of the sea. My counsel he shall have, and nothing hidden, to help him homeward without harm. Hello, Zircon. Don't worry, you haven't missed much. Yes, I saw that. I'm also debating if I should see that same show, but I'll look at tickets later. I have already, but ugh. So Calypso is being told that she has to send Odysseus home, and she's like, ah, fine. Evil Wi-Fi. To this the Wayfinder made answer briefly. Also, is this, like, readable? Looks a little blown out. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't think I can really fix how crunchy it is. That's just how my phone is. Unless... Ugh! Nope. Never mind. You don't think so? Okay, so Hermes answers, "Thus you shall send him then, and show more grace in your obedience, or be chastised by Zeus." The strong god, glittering, left her as he spoke. That's a funny visual. And now her ladyship, having given heed to Zeus's mandate, went to find Odysseus in his stone seat to seaward, tear on tear brimming his eyes. The sweet days of his lifetime were running out in anguish over his exile. For long ago the nymph had ceased to please. Though he fought shy of her and her desire, he lay with her each night, for she compelled him. But when day came he sat on the rocky shore, broke his own heart groaning, eyes wet scanning the bare horizon of the sea. Poor guy. Now she stood near him in her beauty, saying, O forlorn man, be still. Here you need grieve no more. You need not feel your life consumed here. I have pondered it, and I shall help you go. Come and cut down high timber for a raft or flatboat. Make her broad-beamed and decked over, so you can ride her on the misty sea. Stories I shall put abroad for you. Stores I shall put abroad for you. Bread, water, and ruby-colored wine to stay your hunger. Give you a sea cloak and following wind to help you homeward, without harm, provided the gods who rule wide heaven wish it so. Stronger than I they are in mind and power. For all he had endured, Odysseus shuddered. When he spoke, his words went to the mark. Is this the first time we're hearing him speak, actually, in this? Because it's mainly been stories of him. Oh, this is going to be good to... I don't know. It might be. After these years, a helping hand? O goddess, what guile is hidden here? A raft, you say, to cross the western ocean? Rough water and unknown? Seaworthy ships that glory in God's wind will never cross it. I take no raft you grudge me out to sea, or yield me a first great oath if I do, to work no more enchantment to my harm. At this the beautiful nymph Calypso smiled, and answered sweetly, laying her hand upon it. What a dog you are, and not for nothing learned, having the wit to ask this thing of me. My witness then be earth and sky, and dripping sticks that I swear by. The gay gods cannot swear more seriously, and have no further spells to work against you. But what I shall devise and what I tell you will be the same as your need were mine. Fairness is all I think of. There are hearts made of cold iron, but my heart is kind. Swiftly she turned and led him to her cave, and they went in, the mortal and immortal. He took the chair left empty now by Hermes, where the divine Calypso placed before him victuals and drink of men. Then she sat down facing Odysseus, while her serving maids brought nectar and ambrosia to her side. Then each one's hands went out on each one's feast, until they had had their pleasure. She said, Son of Laertes, versatile Odysseus, after these years with me you still desire your old home. Even so, I wish you well. You could see it all before you go, all the adversary you face at sea. You would stay here and guard this house and be immortal. Though you wanted her forever, the bride for whom you pine each day. Can I be less desirable than she is? Less interesting? Less beautiful? Can mortals compare with goddesses in grace and form? To this the strategist Odysseus answered, My lady goddess, here is no cause for anger. My quiet Penelope, how well I know, would seem a shade before your majesty, death and old age being unknown to you, while she must die. Yet it is true, each day I long for home, long for the sight of home. If any god has marked me out again for shipwreck, my tough heart can undergo it. What hardship have I not long since endured at sea in battle? Let the trial come. Now as he spoke, the sun set, dusk drew on, and they retired, this pair to the inner cave, to revel and rest softly side by side. When dawn spread out her fingertips of rose, Odysseus pulled his tunic and his cloak on, while the sea nymph dressed in a silvery gown of subtle tissue, drew about her waist a golden belt, and veiled her head, and then took thought for the great-hearted hero's voyage. A brazen axe head first she had to give him, two-bladed and agreeable to the palm, with a smooth-fitting half of olive wood. Next, a well-polished adz, ADZ. What is that? Curved. I don't know how to. Like an axe and a shovel. Whatever this is. Where was I? A well-polished adz. And then she led him to the island's tip, where bigger timber grew, besides the adler and poplar tall pine trees, long dead and seasoned, that would float him high, showing him in that place her strand of timber, the loveliest of nymphs, took her way home. Now the man fell to chopping. When he paused, 20 tall trees were down. He lopped the branches, split the trunks, and trimmed his puncheons true. Meanwhile, Calypso brought him an auger tool, with which he drilled through all his planks, then drove stout pins to bolt them, fitted side by side. A master shipwright, building a cargo vessel, lays down a broad and shallow hull, just so Odysseus shaped the bottom of his craft. He made his decking fast to close-set ribs before he closed the side with longer planking, then cut a mast pole and a proper yard, and shaped a steering oar to hold her steady. He drove long strands of willow in all the seams to keep out waves, and ballasted with logs. As for a sail, the lovely nymph Calypso brought him a cloth so he could make that too. Then he ran up his rigging, halyards, braces, and hauled the boat on rollers to the water. Where did he get rollers? This was the 4th day, when he had all ready. On the 5th day, she sent him out to sea, but first she bathed him, gave him a scented cloak, and put on board a skin of dusky wine, with water in a bigger skin, and stores, boiled meats and other victuals, in a bag. Then she conjured a warm land breeze to blowing, joy for Odysseus when he shook out sail. Now the great seaman, leaning on his oar, steered all the night unsleeping. and his eyes picked out the Pleiades area, I think. The laggard plowman and the great bear. Oh, stars. Constellation. Now I gotta search these up. Oh, from Orion. A group of stars. So Orion, here's the Jade. 7 sister star. What is the laggard plow? Star? Oh. And the great bear is person. Cool. The great bear that some have called the Wain, pivoting in the sky before Orion. Of all the night's pure figures, she alone would never bathe or dip in the ocean stream. These stars the beautiful Calypso bade him hold on his left hand as he crossed the main. 17 nights and days in the open water he sailed before a dark shoreline appeared. Shkahiria then came slowly into view, like a rough shield of bull's hide on the sea. But now the god of earthquake, storming home over the mountains of Asia from the sunburned land, sighted him far away. The god grew sullen and tossed his great head, muttering to himself, "Here is a pretty cruise. While I was gone, the gods have changed their minds about Odysseus. Look at him now, just offshore of that island that frees him from the bondage of his exile. Still, I can give him a rough ride in, and will." Brewing high thunderheads, he churned the deep with both hands on his trident, called up wind from every quarter, and sent a wall of rain to blot out land and sea in torrential night. Hurricane winds now struck from the south and east, shifting northwest in a great spume of seas on which Odysseus' knees grew slack. His heart sickened, and he said within himself, "Rag of man that I am, is this the end of me? I fear the goddess told it all too well, retelling great adversary at sea and far from home. Now all things bear her out. The whole rondure of heaven hooded so by Zeus in woeful cloud, and the sea raging under such winds. I am going down, that's sure. How lucky those Danaans were who perished on Troy's wide seaboard serving the Atreidea. Would God I too had died there, met my end. That time the Trojans made so many casts of me, when I stood by Achilles after death. I should have had a soldier's burial, and praise from the Achaeans, not this choking, waiting for me at sea, unmarked and lonely. So sad. A great wave drove at him with toppling crest, spinning him round in one tremendous blow. He went plunging overboard, the oar haft wrenched from his grip. A gust that came on howling at the same instant broke his mast in two, hurling his yard and sail far out to leeward. Now the big wave a long time kept him under, helpless to surface, held by tons of water, tangled too by the sea cloak of Calypso. Long, long until he came up spouting brine, with streamlets gushing from his head and beard. But still bethought him, half drowned as he was, to flounder for the boat and get a handhold into the bilge. To crouch there, foiling death, across the foaming water, to and fro. The boat careered, careened, like a ball of tumbleweed, blown on the autumn plains, but intact still, though the winds drove this wreck over the deep. East wind and north wind, then south wind and west, forcing each in turn to the brutal Harry. But Ino saw him. Ino, Admos's daughter, slim-legged, lovely, once an earthling girl, now in the seas. A Nereid Leucothea? That one up too. Forward. Person into a casino. Touched by Odysseus's painful buffeting, she broke the surface like a diving bird, to rest upon the tossing raft and say, "O forlorn man, I wonder why the earth-shaker, Lord Poseidon, holds this fearful grudge. Father of all your woes, he will not drown you, though, despite his rage. You seem clear-headed still. Do what I tell you. Shed that cloak, let the gale take your craft, and swim for it. Swim hard to get ashore upon Scyria yonder, where it is fated that you find a shelter. Here, make my veil your sash. It is not mortal. Do not be drowned or suffer harm. Only the instant you lay hold of earth, discard it, cast it far, far out from shore, in the wine dark sea again. Turn away." After she had bestowed her veil, the Nereid dove like a gull to windward, where a dark wave side closed over her whiteness. But in perplexity, Odysseus said to himself, his great heart laboring, "Oh, damned confusion! Can this be a ruse to trick me from the boat for some god's pleasure? No, I'll not swim. With my own eyes I saw how far the land lies that she called my shelter. Better to do the wise thing as I see it. While this poor planking holds, I stay aboard. I may ride out the pounding of the storm, or if she cracks up, take to the water then. Cannot think it through a better way." But even while he pondered and decided, the gods of earthquake heaved a wave against him. High as a roof tree, and of awful gloom, a gust of wind hitting a pile of chaff will scatter all the parched stuff far and wide. Just so, when this gigantic billow struck, the boat's big timbers blew apart. Odysseus clung to a single beam like a jockey riding. Meanwhile, stripping Calypso's cloak away, then he slung round his chest the veil of Ino and plunged headfirst into the sea. His hands went out to stroke, he gave a swimmer's kick. But the strong earth-shaker had him under his eye and nodded as he said, go on. Wander the high seas this way, take your blows. Before you join that race the gods have nurtured, nor will you grumble even then, I think, for want of trouble." Whipping his glossy team, he rode off to his glorious home at Aigai, but Zeus's daughter Athena countered him. She checked the course of all the winds but one, commanding them, "Be quiet and go to sleep," then sent a long swell running under a norther, bear the Prince Odysseus back from danger. Join the Phaeacians, people of the sea. 2 nights, 2 days in the solid deep sea, swell he drifted, many times awaiting death, until with shining ringlets in the east, the dawn confirmed a third day. Breaking clear over a high and windless sea, and mounting a rolling wave, caught a glimpse of land. What a dear welcome thing life seems to children whose father in the extremity recovers. After some weakening and malignant illness, his pangs are gone. The gods have delivered him. So dear and welcome to Odysseus, the sight of land, of woodland on that morning. It made him swim again to get a foothold on solid ground. But when he came in earshot, he heard the trampling roar of sea on rock, where combers, rising shoreward, thudded down on the sucking ebb, all sheeted with salt foam. Here were no coves or harbors or shelter, only steep headlands, rock-fallen reefs and crags. Odysseus's knees grew slack, his heart faint. A heaviness came over him, and he said, "A cruel turn this. Never had I thought to see this land, but Zeus has let me see it, and let me, too, traverse the western ocean, only to find no exit from these breakers. Here are sharp rocks offshore, and the sea is smother rushing around them, rock face rising sheer from deep water. Nowhere could I stand up on my own 2 feet and fight free of the welter. No matter how I try it, the surf may throw me against the cliffside. No good fighting there. If I swim down the coast outside the breakers, I may find shelving shore and quiet water. What if another gale comes on to blow? Then I go cursing out to sea once more. Or then again, some shark of amphitrite may hunt me. Sent by the genius of the deep, I know how he who makes earth tremble hates me." During this meditation, a heavy surge was taking him. In fact, straight on the rocks. He had been flayed there and his bones broken. Had not gray-eyed Athena instructed him. He gripped a rock ledge with both hands in passing, and held on, groaning as the surge went by, to keep clear of its breaking. Then the backwash hit him, ripping him under and far out. An octopus, when you drag one from his chamber, comes up with suckers full of tiny stones. Odysseus left the skin of his great hands torn on that rock ledge as the waves submerged him, comparing him to an octopus. And now at last Odysseus would have perished, battered inhumanely, but he had the gift of self-possession from gray-eyed Athena. So when the backwash spewed him up again, he swam out and along and scanned the coast for some land spit that made a breakwater. Lo and behold, the mouth of a calm river at length came into view, with level shores, unbroken, free from rock, shielded from wind, by far the best place he had found. But as he felt the current flowing seaward, he prayed in his heart, "O hear me, Lord of the stream, how sorely I depend on your mercy. Derelict as I am by the sea's anger, is he not scared even to the gods? The wandering man who comes as I have come, in weariness before your knees, your waters. Here is your servant, Lord, have mercy on me." Now even as he prayed, the tide at ebb had turned, and the river god made quiet water, drawing him into safety in the shallows. His knees buckled, his arms gave way beneath him, all vital force now conquered by the sea. Swollen from head to foot he was, and seawater gushing from his mouth and nostrils. There he lay, scarce drawing breath, unstirring, deathly spent. In time, as air came back into his lungs and warmth around his heart, he loosed the veil, letting it drift away onto the estuary. Downstream to where a white wave took it under, and Nino's hands received it. Then the man crawled to the riverbank among the reeds, where face down he could kiss the soil of earth, in his exhaustion murmuring to himself, "What more can this hulk suffer? What comes now? In vigil through the night here by the river, how can I not succumb, being weak and sick, to the night's damp and hoar frost of the morning? The air comes cold from rivers before dawn, but if I climb the slope and fall asleep, the dark forest undergrowth, supposing cold and fatigue will go and sweet sleep come, I fear I make the wild beasts easy prey." But this seemed best to him as he thought it over. He made his way to grove above the water, an open ground, and crept under twin bushes, grown from the same spot, olive and wild olive, a thicket proof against the stinging wind or sun's blaze. Fine soever the needling sunlight, nor could a downpour wet it through, so dense those plants were interwoven. Here Odysseus tunneled and raked through with his hands a wide bed, for a fall of leaves was there, enough to save 2 men or maybe 3 on a winter night, a night of bitter cold. Odysseus's heart laughed when he saw his leaf bed, and down he lay, heaping more leaves above him. A man in a distant field, no hearth fires near, will hide a fresh brand in his bed of embers to keep a spark alive the next day. So in the leaves Odysseus hid himself, while over him Athena showered sleep, that his distress should end, and soon, soon, in quiet sleep she sealed his cherished eyes. Okay, for 6? Unless I can't do one more, surely. I do believe this is the first time we're in his POV, though. It was his son up until then. His son and Penelope, like, kind of point of view. Okay. What was this one? Princess in the River? Or something? The Princess at the River. Far gone in weariness, in oblivion, the noble and enduring man slept on. But Athena in the night went down the land, the Phaeacians, entering their city. In days gone by, these men held Hyperia, a country of wide dancing grounds, but near them were overboard Cyclopes? Cy- Cyclopes? Get some pronunciation searched up because I don't know it. Come on, YouTube.
Phaeacians.
That's kind of how I've been saying it. Okay, that's great. Phaeacians. But what about... Oh, Cyclops. Kyklope. So funny how languages work, eh? Anyway. And spelling develops over time. But near them were overbearing Cyclops, whose power could not be turned from pillage. So the Phaeacians migrated thence under Nausithous to settle a new world across the sea. Garia Island, that first captain walled their promontory? Promontory. Like that word also. Yep. This is called battling the growing literacy crisis.
Promontory.
Promontory. High-pointed mass of land that juts out into a body of water. So the rocks he was talking about. And it's a wine. Okay. We're just getting a history of the Phaeacian. That first captain walled their promontory, built their homes and shrines, and parceled out the black land for the plough. But he had gone down long ago to death. He died, if you didn't get that. Alkanos ruled, and heaven gave him wisdom. So on this night the goddess, grey-eyed Athena, entered the palace of Ikanos to make sure of Odysseus's voyage home. She took her way to a painted bedchamber, where a young girl lay fast asleep, so fine in mold and feature that she seemed a goddess, the daughter of Achenos, Nausicaa. On either side, as graces might have slept, her maids were sleeping. The bright doors were shut, but like a sudden stir of wind, Athena moved to the bedside of the girl and grew visible as the shipman Diamond's daughter. The girl the princess's age and her dear friend, in this form grey-eyed Athena said to her, "How so remiss, and yet thy mother's daughter, leaving thy clothes uncared for, Nausicaa, when soon thou must have store of marriage linen, and put thy minstrelsy in wedding dress. Beauty in these will make the folk admire, and bring thy father and gentle mother joy. Let us go washing in the shine of morning. Bedside thee will I drub, so wedding chests will brim by evening. Maidenhood must end. Have not the noblest born Phaeacians paid court to thee, whose birth none can excel? Go beg thy sovereign father, even at dawn, to have the mule cart and the mules brought round, to take thy body linen, gowns, and mantles. Thou shalt ride, for it becomes thee more. The washing pools are found so far from home." Athena's just pretending to be her friend, like, hey, what if we go to the river and do our laundry tomorrow? Bright and early in the morning. And just bring the horse, you know. On this word she departed, grey-eyed Athena, where the gods have their eternal dwelling. As men say in the fastness of Olympos, never a tremor of wind, nor a splash of rain, nor errant snowflake comes to stain that heaven. So calm, so vaporless, the world of light. Here where the gay gods live their days of pleasure, the grey-eyed one withdrew, leaving the princess. And now dawn took her own fair throne, awaking the girl in the sweet gown, still charmed by dream. Down through the rooms she went to tell her parents, whom she found still at home. Her mother seated near the great hearth among her maids, and twirling out of her distaff yarn died like the sea. Her father at the door, bound for a council of princes on a petition of the gentry. She went up close to him and softly said, "My dear papa, do not send the mule cart round for me, the gig with pretty wheels. I must take all our things and get them washed at the river pools. Our linen is all soiled, and you should wear fresh clothing, going to council with counselors and first men of the realm. Remember your 5 sons at home. Though 2 are married, we have still 3 bachelor sprigs. They will have none but laundered clothes each time they go to the dancing. See what I must think of." She had no word to say of her own wedding, though her keen father saw her blush. Said he, "No mules would I deny you, child, nor anything. Go along now. The grooms will bring your gig, with pretty wheels and the cargo box upon it." He spoke to the stablemen, who soon brought round the cart, low-wheeled and nimble, harnessed the mules, and backed them in the traces. Meanwhile the girl fetched all her soiled apparel to bundle the polished wagon box. Her mother for their luncheon packed a hamper with picnic fare, and filled a skin of wine, and when the princess had been handed up, gave her a golden bottle of olive oil for softening girls' bodies after bathing. Nausicaa took the reins and raised her whip, lashing the mules. What jingling, what a clatter! But off they went in a ground-covering trot, with princesses' maids and laundry drawn behind. By the lower river where the wagon came were washing pools, with water all year flowing, limpid spillways that no grime withstood. The girls unhitched the mules and sent them down along the eddying stream to crop sweet grass. Then sliding out the cart's tail broad, they took armloads of clothing to the dusky water, and trod them in the pits, making a race of it. All being drubbed, all blemish rinsed away, they spread them piece by piece along the beach, whose pebbles had been laundered by the sea, then took a dip themselves, and all anointed with golden oil, ate lunch beside the river, while the bright burning sun dried out their linen. This is making laundry seem really fun, and is also reminding me that I actually have to go switch out my laundry. Let me finish this page. Princess and maids lighted in that feast, then putting off their veils, they ran and passed a ball to a rhythmic beat. Nausicaa flashed first with her white arms. So Artemis goes flying after her arrows flown down some tremendous valley side. Pegetos, Erymanthos, chasing the mountain goats or ghosting deer, nymphs of the wild places flanking her. And Leto's heart delights to see them running, for taller by a head than nymphs can be, the goddess shows more stately, all being beautiful. So one could tell the princess from the maids. Just comparing her to Artemis. Soon it was time, she knew, for riding homeward, mules to be harnessed, linen folded smooth, but the grey-eyed goddess Athena made her tarry, so that Odysseus might behold her beauty and win her guidance to the town. Quick break, I have to go change my own laundry. Okay. Stuff like, specifically, like, princesses and, like, ancient stories where they're just, like, doing laundry and weaving and embroidering and stuff like that really romanticizes, like, that part of history to me. What a good life, you know? To be this princess. Of course, that isn't the majority of people's experience of living in this time, but, like, just waking up one day and going, we should let's do laundry. Let's bring all my friends slash maids, because I'm sure they were kind of friends. Maybe not, I'm sure of, but like I would hope. And we're just gonna go down to the river, do some laundry, bathe together, I guess, play some soccer, have a good lunch. Does that not sound awesome? And like that's just your day. That's it. There's so much time on your hands, you know? Anyway. There's a part of me that's like, wow, we've come so far, like things are so much better, but also like some things are worse. I don't know, at this point in my life, I'm like, there isn't really a better. It's just just so different, you know? Anyway, back to the story. It happened when the king's daughter threw her ball offline and missed and put it in the whirling stream, at which they all gave such a shout. Odysseus awoke and sat up, saying to himself, "Now, by my life, mankind again. But who? Savages are they, strangers to courtesy, or gentle folk who know and fear the gods?" Okay, Odysseus. That was a lusty cry of tall young girls, most like the cry of nymphs who haunt the peaks and springs of brooks and inland grassy places. Or am I amid people of human speech? Up again, man, and let me see for myself. He pushed aside the bushes, breaking off with his great hand a single branch of olive, whose leaves might shield him in his nakedness. Oh, I guess he's just about as naked. So come out rustling like a mountain lion, rain-drenched, wind-buffeted, but in his might at ease, with burning eyes, who prowls among the herds of flocks, or after game, his hungry belly taking him near stout homesteads for his prey. Odysseus had this look in his rough skin, advancing on the girls with pretty braids, and he was driven on by hunger too. Streaked with brine and swollen, he terrified them, so they fled this way and that. Only Achenos's daughter stood her ground, being given a bold heart by Athena and steady knees. But yeah, then also imagine you're having a great day out with your maids and your friends, and a naked man walks out of the river. A terrifying looking naked man walks out of the river. She faced him waiting, and Odysseus came, debating inward what he should do. Embrace this beauty's knees in supplication, or stand apart and using honeyed speech, inquire the way to town and beg some clothing. In his swift reckoning, he thought it best to trust in words to please her, and kept away. So might anger the girl touching her knees. Yeah. So he began and let the soft words fall. "Mistress, please, are you divine or mortal? If one of those who dwell in the wide heaven, you are the most near to Artemis, I should say, great Zeus's daughter, in your grace and presence. If you are one of earth's inhabitants, how blessed your father and your gentle mother, blessed all your kin. I know what happiness must send the warm tears to the eyes each time they see the wondrous child go to the dancing. But one man's destiny is more than blessed. He who prevails and takes you as his bride, never have I laid eyes on equal beauty. In man or woman, I am hushed indeed. So fair, one time, I thought a young palm tree at Delos near the altar of Apollo. I had troops under me when I was there, on the sea route that later brought me grief. But that slim palm tree filled my heart with wonder. Never came shoot from earth so beautiful. So now, my lady, I stand in awe so great I cannot take your knees, and yet my case is desperate. 20 days yesterday in the wine-dark sea, on the ever-lunging swell, under gale winds, getting away from the island of Ogygia. Now the terror of storm has left me stranded on this shore. With more blows yet to suffer, I must believe, before the gods relent. Mistress, do me a kindness. After much weary toil I come to you, and you are the first soul I have seen. I know no others here. Direct me to the town. Give me a rag that I can throw around me, some cloth or wrapping that you brought along. May the gods accomplish your desire, a home, a husband, harmonious converse with him. The best thing in the world, being a strong house held in serenity, where man and wife agree. Woe to their enemies, joy to their friends. All this they know best. Then she of the white arms, Nausicaa, replied, Stranger, there is no quirk or evil in you that I can see. You know Zeus metes out fortune to good and bad men as he pleases it. Hardship he sent to you, and you must bear it. But now that you have taken refuge here, you shall not lack for clothing or any other comfort due to a poor man in distress. The town lies this way, and the men are called Phaeacian, who own the land and city. I am daughter to the Prince Achinos, by whom the power of our people stands. Turning, she called out to her maids in waiting, Stay with me. Does the sight of a man scare you, or do you take this one for an enemy? Why, there's no fool so brash, and never will be, as to bring war to pillage to this coast, for we are dear to the immortal gods. Living here in the sea that rolls forever, distant from other lands and other men. No, this man is a castaway, poor fellow. We must take care of him. Strangers and beggars come from Zeus. Small gift then is friendly. Give our new guest some food and drink, and take him into the river, out of the wind to bathe. I think he's had enough of water, girl. They stood up now and called to one another to go on back. Quite soon they led Odysseus under the river bank, as they were bidden, and there laid out a tunic and a cloak, and gave him olive oil in the golden flask. Here, they said, go bathe in the flowing water. But heard now from the kingly man, Odysseus' maids, he said, Keep away a little, let me wash the brine from my own back, and rub on plenty of oil. It is long since my anointing, I take no bath, however, for you can see me naked before young girls with pretty braids. They left him, and went to tell the princess. And now Odysseus, dousing in the river, scrubbed the coat of brine from back and shoulders, and rinsed a clot of sea spume from his hair. Got himself all rubbed down from head to foot, then he put on the clothes the princess gave him. Athena lent a hand, making him seem taller and massive too, with crisping hair and curls like petals of wild hyacinth, but all red golden. Think of gold infused on silver by a craftsman, whose fine art Festos taught him, or Athena, one work moves to delight. Just so she lavished beauty over Odysseus's head and shoulders. Then he went down to sit on the sea beach in his new splendor. There the girl regarded him, and after a time she said to the maids beside her, My gentlewoman, I have a thing to tell you. The Olympian gods cannot be all averse to this man's coming here among our islanders. Uncouth he seems, I thought so too before, but now he looks like one of heaven's people. I wish my husband could be fine as he, and glad to stay forever on Scyria. But have you given refreshment to our guest? At this the maids all gravely listened, hastened to set out bread and wine before Odysseus. And ah, how ravenous that patient man took food and drink, his long fast at an end. The princess Nausicaa now turned aside to fold her linens in the pretty cart. She stowed them, put the mule team under harness, mounted the driver's seat, and looked down to say with cheerful prompting to Odysseus, Up with you now, friend, back to town we go, and I shall send you in before my father, who is wondrous wise. There in our house with him you'll meet the noblest of the Phaeacians. You have good sense, I think. Here's how to do it. While we go through the countryside and farmland, stay with my maids behind the wagon, walking briskly enough to follow where I lead. But near the town, well, there's a wall with towers around the isle, with beautiful ship basins. Right and left of the caseway of approach, seagoing craft are beached beside the road. each on its launching ways. The agora, with field stone benches bedded into the earth, lies either side Poseidon's shrine, for there men are at work on pitch-black hulls and rigging, cables and sails and tapering of oars. The archer's craft is not for the Phaeacians, but ship designing, modes of oaring cutters, which they love to cross the foaming sea. From these fellows I will have no salty talk, no gossip later. Plenty are insolent, and some sea dog might say after we passed, "Who is this handsome stranger trailing Nausicaa? Where did she find him? Will he be her husband? Or is she being hospitable to some rover come off his ship from lands across the sea? There being no lands near, a god maybe, a god from heaven, the answer to her prayer, descending now to make her his forever. Better if she roamed and found a husband somewhere else. None of our own will suit her, though many come to court her, and those the best. This is the way they may think light of me, and I myself should hold it shame for any girl to flout her own dear parents, taking up with a man before her marriage. Note well now what I say, friend, and your chances are excellent. For safe conduct from my father, you'll find black poplars in a roadside park, round a meadow and fountain, all Athena's. But father has a garden in the place, this within earshot of the city wall. Go in there and sit down, giving us time to pass through town and reach my father's. And when you can imagine we're at home, then take the road into the city, asking directions to the place of Achenos. You'll find it easily. Any small boy can take you there. No family has a mansion half so grand as he does, being king. As soon as you are safe inside, cross over and go straight through into the Megaron to find my mother. She'll be there in firelight before our column, or her maids in shadow, spinning a wool dyed richly as the sea. My father's great chair faces the fire too. There like a god he sits and takes his wine. Go past him, cast yourself before my mother. Embrace her knees, and you may wake up soon at home rejoicing. Though your heart, though your home be far, on mother's feeling much depends. She looks on you kindly, you shall see your friends under your own roof, father's country. At this she raised her glistening whip, lashing the team into a run. They left the river, cantering beautifully, then trotted smartly. And then she reined them in and spared the whip so that her maids could follow with Odysseus. The sun was going down when they went by Athena's grove. Here then Odysseus rested and lifted up his prayer to his daughter. Hear me, unwearied child of royal Zeus. Oh, listen to me now, though so aloof. While the earth shaker wrecked and battered me, may I find love and mercy among these people. He prayed for that, and Pallas Athena heard him. Although in deference to her father's brother, she would not show her true form to Odysseus, at whom Poseidon smoldered on, until the kingly man came home to his own shore. Okay. It's only 5 now. Yeah, solid chapter. How long is the next one? Fairly short. We can probably read one more. Pretty short. Should we start it at like 87 or something? 87 to 135 today? Yeah. I gotta know what happens. Gardens and Firelight. Chapter 7. Hold on, my camera. Surely my phone didn't die. When did my camera die? Yeah, my phone died. It was at 50 when I started. 50%, that is. But I forgot to plug it in when my Wi-Fi died. Okay, hold on. I need my camera. Are we enjoying the Odyssey? God dang. At some point, surely he, like, tells his story. Because so far we haven't heard, like, you know, his trials and stuff. Hard to say just based on the chapter names. Anyway, I mainly did want to read this because of the new movie. I said that earlier. Because I've heard some mixed reviews. And I've been thinking, after I finally finish this movie night, the Odyssey movie night, could be very fun. Still have to watch more Frankenstein movies, but there will always be Frankenstein movies. If only reading out loud didn't take so long. I guess we could do some... Let's do some games while we wait. Oh. How many fucking window captures do I have on right now? While we wait for my phone to load, I'm gonna open up the Wordle. Because I haven't done that yet. Wordle time. Oh, I see Zircon already got it. Okay, we got an R, and there's an H somewhere. Churro. I feel like the H has to be here, second one. Makes the most sense to me. A lot of words end with RH. Sure. Okay, there's a U somewhere. Sure. Hurry. That's not going to tell me anything new. True. Oh, that's true. Um, Also, have I explained that I got a couple of my coworkers into the Wordle? Because none of them knew what it was. I feel like that's crazy. None of them had ever heard of the Wordle. Which is also crazy because a lot of the times I bring my breakfast to work before I clock in and I sit down and I eat my bagel and I will play the Wordle sometimes, or at least I used to. And I was doing it the other day. I was doing it one day, and one of my coworkers kind of like looked over and was like, "Oh, what's that?" And I explained the Wordle to her, and she loves it. She plays all the time now. And I think I explained how I got two more of my coworkers into it the day it was pizza, and they got really into it. And then I was playing it around lunchtime again, like 2 days ago, and my manager technically was like, "What is that?" I'm like, does no one know what the Wordle is? Have you never seen the Wordle? That's crazy." yeah, I find that crazy. Is it not? Like, it was such a, I felt like such a big thing in 2020. Like, it's been since 2020. It's not durian. I just want it to be churro. Chirp? Ugh. I thought I had it. Oh, but there's a U. Okay, what would go? Well, I guess we can do this. Oh, my mic just swiveled. Sure. Churd. Not charred. Churf. Churg. Chur. Churge. Churl. What? Okay. Churs. We'll get it someday. It can't be church. Church. Curve. Churn. We got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got it. Okay, my phone's at 5%. Let's maybe read one. Okay. Oh, no. Are we back? We're back. I'm missing a glove. I took them off briefly. Found it. Okay. Back to the story. As Lord Odysseus prayed there in the grove, the girl rode on behind her strapping team, came late to the mansion of her father, where she reined in at the courtyard gate her brothers awaited her like tall gods in the court, circling to lead the mules away and carry the laundered things inside. But she withdrew to her own bedroom, where a fire soon shone, kindled by her old nurse, Eurymedusa. Years ago, from a raid on the continent, the rolling ships had brought this woman over to be Achenos's share, fit spoil for him, whose realm hung on his word, as on the gods. And she had schooled the princess, Nausicaa, whose fire she tended now, making her supper. Odysseus, when the time had passed, arose and turned into the city. But Athena poured a sea fog around him as he went. Her love's expedient that no jeering sailor should halt the man or challenge him for luck. Instead, as he set foot in the pleasant city, the gray-eyed goddess came to him in figure, a small girl child hugging a water jug. Confronted by her, Lord Odysseus asked, "Little one, could you take me to the house of that Achinos, king among these people? You see, I am a poor old stranger here. My home is far away. Here there is no one known to me in countryside or city." "Hey, little girl, could you take me to the king? I don't know where the hell I am." The gray-eyed goddess Athena replied to him, "Oh yes, good grand first sir. I know. I'll show you the house you mean. It is quite near my father's. But come now, hush, like this, and follow me. You must not stare at people or be inquisitive. They do not care for strangers in this neighborhood. Foreign man will get no welcome here. The only things they trust are the racing ships Poseidon gave to sail the deep blue sea, like white wings in the sky or a flashing thought." Pallas Athena turned like the wind, running ahead of him, and he followed in her footsteps. And no seafaring men of Phaeacia perceived Odysseus passing through their town. The awesome one in pigtails barred their sight with folds of sacred mist, and yet Odysseus gazed out marveling at the ships and harbors, public squares and ramparts towering up with pointed palisades along the town, along the top. When they were near the mansion of the king, gray-eyed Athena and the child cried out, "Here it is, grand first sir, the mansion house you asked to see. You'll find our king and queen at supper, but you must not be dismayed. Go in to them. A cheerful man does best at every enterprise, even a stranger. You'll see Our Lady just inside the hall. Her name is Eret. Her grandfather was our good King Achinos' father." Hey, sorry? Her grandfather was the king's father. We're going to ignore that. Nausithous by name, son of Poseidon and Periboea. Oh, son of Poseidon, damn. That was a great beauty, the daughter of Erimedon, commander of the Gigantes in the olden days. He led those who wild things to their doom and his. Poseidon then made love to Periboea, and she bore Nausithous, Phaeacia's lord, whose sons in turn were Rhexenor and Achenos. Rhexenor had no sons, even as a bridegroom, he fell before the silver bow of Apollo. His only child, a daughter, Eret. When she grew up, Achenos married her and holds her dear. I don't like this. No lady in the world, no other mistress of a man's household is honored as our mistress is, and loved by her own children, by Achenos, and by the people. When she walks the town, they murmur and gaze as though she were a goddess. No grace or wisdom fails in her. Indeed, just men in quarrels come to her for equity. Supposing then she looks upon you kindly, the chances are that you shall see your friends under your own roof in your father's country." At this, the gray-eyed Athena left him and left that calmly land, going over sea Marathon to the wide roadways of Athens and her retreat in the stronghold of Erechtheus. Odysseus now alone before the palace meditated a long time before crossing the brazen threshold of the great courtyard. High rooms he saw ahead, airy and luminous, as though with lustres of the sun and moon. Bronze-paneled walls at several distances, making a vista with an azure molding of lapis lazuli. The doors were golden guardians of the great room, shining bronze-plated the wide door sill. The posts and lintel were silver upon silver. Golden handles curved on the doors, and gold too and silver were sculpted. In golden too and silver were sculptured hounds, flanking the entranceway, cast by the skill and ardor of Hephaestus to guard the Prince Echinos' house. Undying dogs that could never grow old. Through all the rooms, as far as he could see, tall chairs were placed around the walls and strewn fine embroidered stuff made by the woman. Here were enthroned the leaders of Phaeacia, drinking and dining, abundant fare. Here too were boys of gold on pedestals, holding aloft bright torches of pitch pine to light the great rooms and the nighttime feasting. And 50 maids in waiting of the household sat by the round mill grinding yellow corn, and wove upon their looms, or twirled their distaffs, flickering like the leaves of a poplar tree, while drops of oil glistened on linen weft. Skillful as were the men of Phaeacia, ship handling at sea, so were these women skilled at the loom, having this lovely craft and artistry as talents from Athena. To the left and right outside he saw an orchard closed by a pale, 4 spacious acres, planted with trees, bloom or weighted down for picking. Pear trees, pomegranates, brilliant apples, luscious figs, and olives ripe and dark. Fruit never failed upon these trees, winter and summer time they bore, for through the year the breathing west wind ripened all in turn. So one pear came to prime, then another, so with apples, figs, and the vine's fruit, empurpled in the royal vineyard there. Currants were dried at one end on a platform bare to the sun, beyond the vintage arbors and vats, vintners trod. While near at hand were new grapes, barely formed as the green bloom fell on half-ripe clusters, faintly coloring. After the vines came rows of vegetables, all the kinds that flourish in every season. And through the garden plots and orchards ran channels from one clear fountain, while another gushed through a pipe under the courtyard entrance to serve the house and all who came for water. These were the gifts of heaven to Achinos. Odysseus, who had borne the barren sea, stood in the gateway and surveyed this bounty. He gazed his fill, then swiftly he went in. The lords and nobles of Phaeacia were tipping wine to the wakeful god, to Hermes, a last libation before going to bed. But down the hall Odysseus went unseen. Still in the cloud Athena cloaked him in, until he reached Arete and the king. He threw his great hands round Arete's knees, wherein the sacred mist curled back. They saw him, and the diners hushed amazed to see an unknown man inside the palace. Under their eyes Odysseus made his plea. Arete, admirable Rhexenor's daughter, here is a man bruised by adversary, thrown upon your mercy, and the king, your husband's, begging indulgence of this company. May the gods' blessing rest on them. May life be kind to all. Let each one leave his children every good thing this realm confers upon him. But grant me passage to my fatherland, my home, my friends lie far. My life is pain. The Germa clip.
Life is pain! I hate my...
That's all. He moved then towards the fire and sat him down amid the ash. No one stirred or spoke until Echinios broke the spell, an old man, eldest of the Phaeacians, an oracle versed in the laws and manners of old time. He rose among them now and spoke out kindly. Echinos, this will not pass for courtesy. A guest abashed in ashes at our hearth. Everyone here awaits your word. So come then, lift the man up, give him a seat of honor, silver-studded chair. Then tell the stewards we'll have another wine bowl for libation to Zeus, Lord of the lightning, advocate of honorable petitioners, and supper may be supplied our friend by the larder mistress. Achinos, calm in power, heard him out, and took the great adventurer by the hand and led him from the fire. Nearest his throne, the son whom he loved best, Laodamas, had long held place. Now the king bade him rise and gave his shining chair to Lord Odysseus. Serving maid poured water for his hands, gold pitcher into a silver bowl, and spread a polished table at his side. The mistress of provisions came with bread and other victuals, generous with her store. The Lord Odysseus drank and tasted supper. Seeing this done, the king in majesty said to his squire, "A fresh bowl, Pontonos. We make libation to the Lord of Lightning, who seconds honorable petitioners." Mixing the honey-hearted wine, Pontonos went on his rounds and poured fresh cups for all, whereof when all had split they drank their fill. Echinos then spoke to the company. "My lords and leaders of Phaeacia, hear now all that my heart would have me say. Our banquet's ended, so you may retire, but let our seniors gather in the morning to give this guest a festal day and make fair offerings to the gods. In due course, we shall put our minds upon the means at hand, take him safely, comfortably, well and happily with speed to his own country. Distant though it may lie, may no trouble come to him here or on the way. His fate he shall pay out at home, even as the spinners spun for him on the day his mother bore him. If as may be he is some god come down from heaven's height, gods are working strangely. Until now they have shown themselves in glory only after great hecatomb. Those figures banqueting at our side, throned like ourselves, or some traveler met them when alone. They bore no least disguise, we are their kin. Giants, Cyclops rank no nearer gods than we. Odysseus's wits were ready. He replied, "Achinos, you may set your mind at rest. Body and birth, most unlikely god am I. Being all of earth and mortal nature, I should say rather, I am like those men who suffer the worst trials that you know, miseries greater yet. As I might tell you, hundreds, indeed the gods could send no more. You will indulge me if I finish dinner? Grieved though I am to say it, there's no part of man more like a dog than brazen belly, crying to be remembered. And it must be, we are mortal, weary, and sick at heart, and that is my condition. Yet my hunger drives me to take this food and think no more of my affliction. Belly must be filled. Be equally impelled, my lords, tomorrow, to berth me in a ship and send me home. Rough years I've had, now may I see once more my hall, my lands, my people before I die." Now all who heard cried out assent to this. The guest had spoken well, he must have passage. Then tipped wine they drank their thirst away, and one by one went homeward for the night. So Lord Odysseus kept his place alone with the Ret and the king Achinos. Beside him, while the maids went to and fro, clearing away the wine cups and the table. Presently the ivory-skinned lady turned to him. She knew his cloak and tunic, to be her own fine work done with her maid. Arrowy came her words from the air. Friend, I, for one, have certain questions for you. Who are you, and who has given you this clothing? Did you not say you wandered here by sea? The great tactician carefully replied, Ah, Majesty, what labor it would be to go through the whole story. All my years of misadventures given by those on high, but this you ask about is quickly told. In mid-ocean lies Ogygia, Ogygia, the island haunt of Calypso, Atlas's guileful daughter, a lovely goddess and a dangerous one. No one, no god or man consorts with her, but supernatural power brought me there, to be her solitary guest. For Zeus let fly with his bright bolt and splint my ship, rolling me over in the wine-dark sea. There all my shipmates' friends were drowned, while I hung on the keelboard of the wreck and drifted 9 full days. Then in the dead of night, the gods brought me ashore upon the Ogygia to her hand. The enchantress in her beauty fed and caressed me, promised me I shall be immortal, youthful all the days to come. But in my heart I never gave consent, was 7 years detained. Mortal clothing I had from her and kept it wet with tears. Then came the 8th year on the wheel of heaven, and word to her from Zeus, or a change of heart, that she now command me to sail, sending me out to sea on a craft I made with timber and tools of hers. She gave me stores, victuals, and wine, a cloak divinely woven, and made a warm land breeze come up astern. 17 days I sailed in the open water before I saw your country shore, a shadow upon the sea rim. Then my heart rejoiced, pitiable as I am, for blows aplenty awaited me from the gods who shakes the earth. Cross gales he blew, making me lose my bearings, and heaved up seas beyond imagination, huge and foundering seas. All I could do was hold hard, groaning under every shock, until my craft broke up in the hurricane. I kept aloft and swam your sea, or drifted, taken by wind and current to this coast, where I went in on big swells running landward. But cliffs and rock shoals made that place forbidding. So I turned back, swimming offshore, came in the end to a river, to auspicious water, and smooth beach and a rise that broke the wind. I lay there where I fell till strength returned. Then sacred night came on, I went inland to high ground, on a leaf bed in a thicket. Heaven sent slumber in an endless tide, submerging my sad heart among the leaves. That night and next day's dawn and noon I slept. The sun went west, swept sleep unbound me, and I became aware of maids, your daughters, playing along the beach, princess too, most beautiful. I prayed her to assist me, her good sense was perfect. One could hope for no behavior like it from the young, thoughtless as they most often are. And she gave me good provender and good red wine, river bath, finally this clothing. There is the bitter tale. These are the facts. But in reply, Alkinos observed, Friend, my child's good judgment failed in this, not to have brought you in her company home. Once you approached her, you became her charge. To this Odysseus tactfully replied, Sir, as to that, you should not blame the princess. You did not tell me to follow with her maids, but I would not. I felt abashed and feared the sight would somehow ruffle or offend you. All of us on this earth are plagued by jealousy. Alkinos' answer was a declaration. Friend, I am not a man for trivial anger. Better a sense of measure in everything. No anger here. I say that if it should please our father Zeus, Athena, and Apollo, seeing the man you are, seeing your thoughts, are my own thoughts. My daughter should be yours, you my son-in-law, you remain. A home, lands, riches you should not have from me. You could be contented here. If not, by Father Zeus, let none of our men hold you. On the contrary, I can assure you now of passage late tomorrow. While you sleep, my men will row you through the tranquil night, your own land and home, or where you. It may be even far beyond Eobia, O Oboia, called most remote by seamen of our isle who landed there, conveying Rhadamanthus when he sought Tityos, the son of Gaia. They put about with neither pause nor rest, and entered their home ports the self-same day. But this you too will see, what ships I have, how my young oarsmen send home scudding. Now joy welled up in the patient Lord Odysseus, who said devoutly in the warmest tones, O Father Zeus, let all this be fulfilled as spoken by Alkinoos. Earth of harvest, remember him. Return me to my homeland. In this manner they conversed with one another, but the great lady called her maids and sent them to make a kingly bed with purple rugs, piled up in sheets outspread and fleecy, coverlets in an eastern colonnade. Girls went out with torches in their hands, swift at their work of bed-making. Returning, they whispered at the Lord Odysseus' shoulder, Sir, you may come, your bed has been prepared. How welcome the word bed came to his ears. Now then, Odysseus laid him down and slept in luxury under the porch of morning, while in his inner chamber Alkinoos retired to rest where his dear consort lay. End of the chapter. I think that will be enough reading for today. It does hurt my throat. Not gonna lie. I think that might be it. I just wanted to do a little stream of reading so I can get through this book a little bit more. We still have quite a ways to go, but that's... Did still want to get some editing done today, so I think that might be it. Oh, it's Fishbuild's birthday tomorrow. Fun fact for everyone. There he is. Okay. I think that will be it. Who's live? Who's live on a Sunday? I might go live tomorrow, actually. Minecraft Monday. Because it works out with my schedule. Okay. I popped into someone's stream and had ads, saw them briefly, and now I met with a commercial break in progress screen. That's fucked up. Okay. I don't know anyone live right now, so I'm just gonna say farewell. And I will see you tomorrow from Minecraft Monday. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of reading. Okay. Bye.